everyone, I'm Jenny from herworklife.com, and today I'm talking to Peter Locke. Pete runs a successful personal training business in Eastbourne, which is in the southeast coast of the UK. And Pete does one-on-one training, group training, boot camps, and he even trains some of his clients by Skype. So today I'm going to be asking him about his career journey and his early career, why he decided to become a personal trainer, how he gets his clients and grows his business, and also a little bit about how he trains via Skype, and actually what advice he'd give to anyone who wanted to become a personal trainer. So Pete, can you just start by telling me sort of where did this all begin?
The personal training began as more of a hobby, if you like, when I was working for a Royal Mail for many years, and hadn't been into fitness at all, not particularly sporty at school. Later on in life, got into my 30s and realised I needed to start exercising, getting a little bit of a soft middle, and it wasn't a great look, so I thought we'd better do something about it. Joined the gym, didn't actually set foot in a gym until I was 35, but which surprises a lot of people. They assume I'm just always naturally the sporty type, but not particularly. Really enjoyed it, really enjoyed going to the gym, and started to see the benefits straight away. Surprised myself the fact that I did enjoy it. I was expecting to be a one-week wonder with it, maybe, but I really started to notice the difference and actually got interested in the whole subject. Started buying magazines, men's fitness magazine, men's health magazines, started to get interested in the actual background to how training works, how you get fitter, what you can do to improve your health, change your body, lead a healthier lifestyle. So I was doing it originally as a hobby, and still working for Royal Mail.
So why did you suddenly decide to jack in your Royal Mail job? What was the tipping point?
It was the opportunity came up to take voluntary redundancy, whereby they give me a lump sum. They were looking to cut staff, trimming the whole business down by several thousand, and they were looking to make cuts and make redundancies. And I was offered voluntary redundancy, whereby they gave me a certain amount of money to leave, and it was an opportunity to have that money behind me while I retrained. As it turned out, I thought this is a perfect opportunity to become a personal trainer and turn the hobby into potentially a job. At the time, it was all a little bit possibly a fantasy. Wasn't sure whether it was viable. Yeah. You know, I was coming up to 40 years old, thinking probably a bit too old for this lark, maybe change of career, especially into fitness. But I thought, why not go for it? I went along to like an open day thing for Premier Training, who do personal training providing courses, and the people there all convinced me that I could do it, that I wasn't too old, that I was probably ideal type of person to do it. So signed up with them and did the training course.
Wow! So you were training, and how long did the training last?
The training was a 12-week course, so it's 3 months sort of full-time course in North London in Finsbury Park. So it's sort of 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, like a full-time job for 3 months, but just learning how to be a personal trainer.
Wow! So you weren't working at the time; you'd finished your job, and then you had this training over 3 months. So what was the plan after that? What were you hoping to do?
The long-term plan was probably always to work for myself, but that was a bit of a daunting step from going from just learning to straight away running your own business and carrying out personal training sessions. So the short-term plan was to get a job in a gym to gain the experience of working with real people as opposed to just your fellow students on the course, because you always get to know each other very well. It's very different to training basically your friends, to training an originally complete stranger, and they're kind of putting their bodies in your hands, literally, that element of trust and the two-way thing that goes on there. And it's great experience in the gym. So I got a job in a local gym in Croydon.
Fantastic.
Which about 10 minutes walk from my house, so that was perfect.
And did they ask you for this specific qualification that you just gained? Was that an entry criteria in order to get
that
a job?
Was very much opened a lot of doors. I passed the Premier course, which is the diploma in personal training, which is an industry. It's a very well recognised industry qualification. And obviously, as soon as I added that to my CV, sent my CV off, I got replies from most of the gyms that I sent it off to at least come in for an interview. As it turned out, I ended up working for a gym called Holmes Place in Croydon Town Centre, which was a very well run gym at the time, and it gave a great opportunity to sort of learn the trade, if you like, and help run the gym, and deliver personal training sessions.
Fantastic.
Very much you had to have that qualification before they would pretty much even see you.
Right, okay.
Wouldn't just get to bluff it.
How long were you at the gym for?
Ended up working for the gym for 2 years, almost exactly 2 years, during which time I'd sort of learned a lot from the other trainers, from the gym manager there, really became more confident delivering one-to-one personal training sessions, because the first few that I did I remember being quite nervous about doing, and I think I actually told the client involved, look, this is almost like this is my first time, be gentle with me. And I always remember the first time I ever did a personal training session, and the chap I trained was very complimentary, and he said, oh no, you'd never know that was your first time. So I took that as a good sign.
Well done.
So I never really ended up doing literally hundreds of personal training sessions, personal training hours.
Great.
As well as help people with the inductions and when they first joined the gym as well.
Right. So that was for 2 years, and then so what made you leave Holmes Place?
It was eventually I was in a comfort zone there a little bit, and I thought this is all well and good, this is great, could probably carry on like this, but there did start to become this kind of almost itch to do my own thing, start running my own business in my own way, and have full control over the sessions I delivered, the environment they were delivered in, the whole personal training experience for the client, from the initial meeting to the delivery of the sessions to the ongoing training. Under the gym umbrella, you had certain limitations. The gym fixed obviously the hours, the location, the pricing structure, how a personal training session should be delivered, and eventually that became a little bit restrictive. I felt I needed a bit more freedom to train people in the way that I believe people should be trained in, and to a certain extent away from the distractions of the gym, because gym environment is not for everybody. Some people thrive in it, some people get a buzz from the atmosphere, and I understand that as well, but some people can feel a little bit intimidated by the hustle and bustle and sometimes all the potentially fit bodies all around them, and all the noises and various things that go on in the gym. So very different environments. I thought there's definitely a category of people who could benefit from more peaceful surroundings and more comfortable surroundings. As it turned out, in their own homes works very well for a lot of people.
So how did you manage to get your first clients on leaving the gym?
First clients, I must admit, were basically poached from the gym. I'm not sure that that's ethically a very good way of doing it, but it's the way it evolved, because some people, when they found out I was leaving the gym, immediately said, oh, it's a shame you're leaving, I'd really like to carry on training with you, rather than switch to one of the other trainers at the gym and carry on there. So I said, well, my plan is to train people outside, and some people basically came with me, so they were my first clients outside of the gym. Not exactly stolen from the gym, but just say they were more loyal to me than to the gym. They came with me when I left. Right. In some cases, they continued being gym members, but they did personal training with myself outside of the gym, as in addition to their gym memberships. Okay. So they were the first few clients.
So at that point, what were the challenges for you with setting up this business of your own, going from effectively, not such an early stage of your career, from going from an employee to working for yourself, being self-employed? Yeah,
the challenges of it were in some ways the challenges were also the positives. It was the fact that I had complete control over everything, which was great, but at the same time slightly daunting in that every decision was mine. The decision about literally from what colour to have my business cards, to what uniform I wore, to how much I charged, to everything I said and did in my business to generate clients, customers, how I pitched my business to people in a 1 minute sort of elevator pitch, as they say. Suddenly it wasn't, oh, I work for Virgin Active or Holmes Place, it was I work for myself, and I was literally selling myself. So the biggest challenge for that was to learn how to sell myself, because it was something I wasn't used to doing. Having the confidence to say this is the product I offer, and I'm now expecting you to buy into it and potentially pay me to train you in this way.
And how did you overcome that kind of thought that was holding you back, that lack of confidence?
Just from actually doing the sessions, getting good feedback from people who were getting good results, telling their friends about it and how they found it, how good it was. Getting referrals from people to train other people is always a great boost, because obviously if they're confident enough to refer you to somebody else, they're happy to say, look, I think this is a good thing to be doing, referring on. That's one of the greatest, I suppose, compliments that you can have, the fact that the people refer you on to someone else, rather than just do a few sessions and then disappear. That didn't tend to be happening. So that gives you a good confidence. So, okay, I've definitely got a good product here that people are happy with, happy to continue doing, and also happy to refer on to their friends and family. Excellent. So that really helped overcome any doubts about whether it was a viable business, whether I was any good at it, whether it was an ongoing career.
Right, excellent. So the positive feedback you were getting was really spurring you on to grow the business.
Yes, absolutely. And it did start to almost grow itself after a certain point,
right, after
the initial few clients came along.
And this type of training, Pete, this is training in someone's own home rather than having to go to your place. Was that always the case?
Yes, that was always the plan. So I bought a certain amount of equipment, which was obviously portable, that would fit in the back of an average-sized car. It's surprising how little equipment you need if you have the knowledge to know what exercises are the good ones to do with minimal kit. In other words, some people only had a very small area to train in. Sometimes their living room. I've trained people in their kitchens, conservatories, back gardens, anywhere where there's a little bit of space. Sometimes there's a lot of space, sometimes there's not much space at all. So it's having minimal equipment but maximum effective workouts, and knowing how you can adapt the workouts to the environment. So that was always the plan.
And who are your most successful clients? I mean, you mentioned that people want to get results. Who do you find are the most successful in achieving the best results for themselves?
Without doubt, the ones the most successful are the ones who do other things in addition to the training sessions with me. Some people train with me once a week, some twice a week. The ones who get the best results are the ones that basically do the homework I set them.
Right.
Because it's great to train once a week, but really you need to do more than that. So everybody I train with has a little plan, a homework plan, to be doing things in between in the days when I don't see them. It doesn't have to be massive amount, ideally once or twice in between the times I see them. The ones who really start to get the results are the ones who do the training sessions with me and also do their homework. So they're the ones that get the gold star.
So at this point, you just left the gym, your business was growing, you were getting more and more clients on board through referral, recommendation, and then you decided to change your life. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yes, once I wasn't attached to a gym or any one location, I realised that the business was potentially transferable, that you could actually do it in any part of the country, or in fact anywhere you could do it. It was transferable to any location. So it suddenly became I wasn't attached to any one particular town or city and could potentially live anywhere, wherever I always wanted to live, and had always liked Eastbourne. We'd come down here for day trips, weekends away. My partner's dad lives down this way, so we were familiar with the area, and we started looking at the area and realised that we could actually potentially move to Eastbourne when we didn't have to have access to Croydon or London. So that sowed the initial seed. So eventually transplanted myself and the business to the south coast, which sounds a big step, but it was done bit by bit.
Fantastic. I know a lot of people are quite jealous of your lifestyle, living by the sea at the moment.
I do get from friends sometimes about it, yes.
I bet you do. And what about your client base? Because obviously you spent a lot of time building up this client base that were presumably around the Croydon area. So what happened?
Yes, didn't have a huge amount of clients initially on leaving the gym. So it was a case of almost keeping a few clients in Croydon and building business up in Eastbourne after a few months. So there were a few people that sort of were training in Croydon, but the long-term idea was always to really focus on building more clients in Eastbourne. So that's how it kind of evolved really by then. It wasn't such a plan originally, but I realised my heart wasn't 100% in getting clients in the Croydon area, because I always had it in mind that I wasn't going to be there long term. So I wasn't 100% focused on picking up more clients in Croydon.
So you moved to this new area, Eastbourne. How did you then, because obviously you got your business model by then, you knew what your business product was, you knew how happy people had been, so you felt a bit more confident. How did you go about creating your market, your client base in Eastbourne?
Yes, several ways in Eastbourne. Initially coming down to Eastbourne, I ordered a huge stack of flyers to literally go around flyering door to door, ordered about 5,000 leaflets, thinking this is the way to go. I'll deliver 5,000 leaflets, and out of those 5,000, convert some of those into potential clients and customers. As it turned out, I only ended up delivering a few hundred of them. Realised that was quite a lot like hard work, and for every sort of 100 leaflets you deliver, you would be lucky to perhaps get one inquiry from. So it was a very poor way of marketing yourself, really. So that was the initial plan, was to just do the leaflets. Realised I had to do a lot more than that, and joined the local Chamber of Commerce down here, who run networking meetings, whereby you go along to the networking meetings, meet other business people, you all stand up and talk about your business and what you do, and potentially gain customers from there. And that's when it really started to take off, because I got lots of people, lots of interest in that, and then a few people there started training with me, and then referrals came from that as well. So the networking was by far and away the most successful way of getting new clients.
And then how did you kind of increase your portfolio of services? How did that come about?
This is something that evolved. Initially, I saw it as always being a one-to-one service, so it would be just one client and myself, and gradually realised that there was a potential to do a little bit more, where people would start to ask me, do you train couples, do you train friends, do you do group exercise classes? And all of those things came from really inquiries, and almost pushed me to think, yes, I could do that, thought about how that would work. So redid a bit of pricing structures to say I could train 2 people for X amount per block of sessions, or I could do a circuit class, as it turned out, outdoors for a certain amount of people, outdoors. So these things evolved from the initial one-to-one sessions, and it became an extra service. So I now do a couple of couples and outdoor circuit classes, and the Skype training, which you mentioned earlier, also evolved from moving to Eastbourne but not wanting to stop training people in Croydon area. So that was a solution to that issue, and which has worked.
Skype, I know a lot of people I speak to about this, because obviously you train me via Skype, and there's a lot of interest in this, and I kind of think it's a bit of a no-brainer for anyone that wants to work with a trainer and they happen to be maybe travelling for work or living not in the same area, because it's quite a personal thing, and if you get used to someone's style of training, you don't really want to give that up. So can you explain to people that might be interested in this how it kind of works?
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing with Skype is it works pretty much the same way that a personal training session would be, whereby you're both watching, you both can see each other, so you can see exactly for demonstration purposes whether you perform the exercise correctly. I can demonstrate on one end of the line, the trainee can do the exercise correctly or incorrectly, or the other, I can correct it. The main thing with the Skype is that you would need a certain amount of space, you would need the webcam and the Skype setup, and you would need a certain amount of equipment, ideally a few basic bits of equipment, a stability ball, some adjustable weights, and you're away, really.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that it's quite a simple model, and we did a trial run just to see whether it worked, and it actually worked very well. So we do the hour session as if I were there, virtual training.
Yeah, I know for me personally it's been hugely successful, and it's allowed me to continue training with you, because I think for most people, letting someone into your house to train you, you've got to have the right person. So for me it's brilliant, and I think it's something that a lot of people will catch on to in the near future. I can see that happening. So, Pete, what do you enjoy most about the way you work now? You're working for yourself. You've built up your client base. You're obviously networking still down in Eastbourne. What's the best bit?
The best bit is having the flexibility and control over your own day and your own diary. You obviously need to train a certain amount of people, but within reason you can fix your own hours. You can choose how many hours you work a week. I've currently got 19 clients. Some of those train twice a week, so I'm doing sort of round about 20 sessions a week, but they can be quite flexible. So sometimes I'll train people early in the morning, through the day, lots of evening work obviously, but quite often I've got long sort of gaps in the day where I can sort of do other things, be it planning future sessions, planning where the business is going, or playing a bit of golf if I feel like a bit of leisure time. So very flexible. The best thing about it is the flexibility, definitely, and not being answerable to anybody else. I can within reason take holidays when I want and take a day off if I needed to, and basically have control over your own life is probably the number one best thing about it.
Fantastic. You said earlier that the majority of your business growth comes from referrals, recommendations. What about promoting online?
Looking to do that a little bit more. Had somebody working on the website where they've been optimizing the website to get it higher on the rankings of the search engines. So I've actually managed to get that on, with his help, onto page 1 of Google, which is obviously a big help. So obviously people can type. I've had a few clients lately who said, I just did a Google search and you came up on page 1, and I run boot camp classes as well. Some people found the boot camp via the internet, which is always a bonus. It's a nice easy way for people to find you, and looking to possibly offer more services on the website if I can get to grips with the IT side of it. So it could grow from there. So watch this space.
Okay, I will be, don't you worry. And where do you see the business going now? What do you see for the next 5 years for your business?
For the next 5 years, probably see hopefully more group training. Would like to do more of that because I'm really enjoying that. But you reach more people for a start. More people get to know about you. More people can benefit from it. Sounds a little bit big-headed, but you like to feel that you're helping as many people as you can. When you see people getting the benefits, you think, okay, well, if one person could get the benefit for this hour, if 2 could get the benefit as well, that'd be great. If a group of 5 people train together to do an exercise class, you're helping 5 people at once. It's actually very satisfying to feel that you've done that, and you're getting good feedback from a lot of people saying they liked the session, the class, and they come back for more. That's the biggest compliment you can have. So I'd like to definitely do more of that. Potentially offer services via the internet, possibly more Skype sessions if the timing's right. It could even be a worldwide thing, Skype, potentially, if the time zones don't get in the way and I don't have to get up at 3 a.m. to train somebody. I'd be quite happy to do that.
Fantastic. And a couple of things at the end. What advice would you give for someone that might be watching this and thinking about setting up their own personal fitness business?
I think the first bit of advice would be if you've got the passion for it, go for it, definitely. If you haven't got the passion for it, you can't fake it. So it's something that you could say, you can't just say, I'm going to choose this as a career option, as it's hard to explain. I think you've got to have the passion for it first, then everything else comes from that. If you enjoy training yourself and you're interested in fitness, you're interested in the benefits of training, the whole subject, it's not for everybody. Some people just want to do it and see the benefits and be healthy and not worry about what's going on. If you're interested in the technical side of it, certainly it's the career for you, because you can. The other thing is to be a people person and want to help people. Another thing you can't really fake. You either want to do that or you are like that or not, and have empathy with people perhaps who aren't as interested in it or as fit as you are, but they perhaps want to be.
Really...
So the main bit of advice would be to already have the passion for it. Whether that's the right bit of advice, it's because if you haven't got that, you're probably not going to go any further with it. The other main bit of advice would be, if you have got the passion for what you want to do, is to do one of the recommended courses by one of the respected training providers. The top ones are probably YMCA, Premier, Lifetime Fitness, Future Fitness. All these are very well respected training providers in the industry. So go with a recognised qualification, and that will open doors for you when you start your career.
Sounds like great advice, great advice. And finally, Pete, if someone wanted to work with you to have some training, how do they go about getting in touch?
The best way would be probably to look at the website. It's got all the contact details on there. Do you want me to give out the website?
Yes, please.
Name? It's www.peterlockfitness.co.uk. It'll have telephone numbers, pricings, how it works, bits of fitness advice, a few photos, more information on the whole thing. So that would be the best place, really, to find out initially all about it and see if it's for you.
Brilliant. Pete, thank you so much for agreeing to the interview today. Really appreciate it. I think that's really, really great advice for lots of people either thinking of taking personal training themselves or becoming a trainer. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.